That's my secret, Captain. I'm always in.
These are the best Hulk character transformations in the movies and TV shows. I can understand why Bruce Banner wouldn't want to have the Hulk around despite him being the ultimate cheat code to any battle. The most important reason being unable to get too excited around Betty, so if I was in his place, I'd definitely have done the same thing. Now, the aim of this scene is to suppress the Hulk, but the angry green giant does show up in the middle of the process, and may I add that it was absolutely gruesome to watch. Like, bro, what's with all those bones cracking and stuff? It was a nice little addition to an already thrilling scene, and yes, if Liv Tyler got on top of me like that, even I'd banish the Hulk as fast as I could.
It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. I swear on my life, I will get you out of this. You will walk away and never ever—
Your life!
This was probably the only MCU film where a Hulk transformation scared the living daylights out of the audience. It all happened just as Loki wanted it to, but after seeing how cool it was, I'd have to let it play out the exact same way again. So this is obviously a transformation that Banner didn't want to experience, which makes it quite dangerous. And then to have him turn into the angry green giant against a darkened colour scheme with Black Widow quite visibly fearing for her life was a great choice. Man, they really outdid themselves with this sequence, so what the heck was the need to introduce Smart Hulk in 2019?
This circuit's kind of fried. I don't know. Maybe you want to come take a look at it.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay, so this is supposed to be our introduction to the Hulk, but it's more like a tease because we don't really get to see it happen properly. The Gamma incident had Banner mostly in human form with just a brief transition to his eyes, which looked very green and very angry. That alone was good enough to land this scene a spot on today's list because I did like the overall direction and presentation of Bruce's alter ego. And yes, even though there are some lapses in scientific logic in terms of how Banner's body would have reacted, I'll still take it as a legit semi-transformation.
Dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
I can't.
Okay, so this entry mostly covers the times when Bruce Banner desperately tried to transform into the Hulk after getting his butt handed to him by Thanos, but wasn't able to. We can start off with how the Hulk turns into Banner once he reaches Earth, because that's a proper reversal. But what's hilarious is the sequence right after when Tony Stark asks him to take on Cull Obsidian.
Where's your gun?
I don't know. Should have been having a thing.
There's no time for a thing. That's the thing right there. Let's go.
Bro was having some serious performance issues.
How we doing? Good, man?
Really, really good. Really good. Do you plan on helping out?
I'm trying. You won't come out.
And that little roar at the end felt more like Banner turning over to the dark side rather than the Hulk.
Come on! What do you mean, no?
Of course, there's the actual fight against Cull when Banner is using the Hulkbuster suit. The angry green giant does show his face for a bit, but only to say no.
Oh, screw you, you big green!
Man, I've heard of drama queens, but this dude was on a completely different level. It's like showing up to a party just so that you can tell the host that you're not going to attend it.
Hulk, I know you like making your entrance at the last second. Well, this is it, man. This is the last second.
We got a lot to figure out, pal.
Excuse me? If I could just put your minds at ease.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Hang on a sec.
Oh boy, I feel like I'm gonna get some serious hate for this one, but I'm prepared for it because I have to cover transformations that did catch my eye. The main reason I'm including this version of Abomination is because we get to see a different side of Emil Blonsky. Yes, I do understand that compared to the OG beast from 2008, this one is a literal abomination in the true sense of the word. However, what's important to note is that Blonsky is able to control his transformation quite nicely and doesn't go on a rampage even though everyone else loses their minds upon seeing him. The character design could definitely be a bit better considering he looks more like a lost sea creature, but the ease with which he also transforms back into his human form is actually quite impressive. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this scene in terms of praises.
As you can see, I'm in full control.
Talbot. Yeah? You're making me angry. Oh, am I?
Listen, we as human beings go through a lot of emotions on a daily basis, and a lot of them happen to be negative ones, like stress, sadness, or anger. However, just because you're in a fit of rage doesn't give you the right to make other people angry too, as that comes with its own set of consequences. Just ask Talbot, who got to learn that lesson in a rather brutal fashion. As Bruce Banner turned into the Hulk because he was making him angry. Bro did his best to keep the angry green giant in check, but sometimes you just gotta pop out and show fellas what's up. This is why it's not just a great transformation scene, but it's also a satisfying humbling of that dummy Talbot. The Hulk actually grew in size the angrier he got, proving that sometimes a little push is all that it takes to turn you into the strongest version of yourself.
What are you doing? You don't even know if you'll change.
Betty, I've got to try.
Taking on the Abomination is no easy task, so it's totally understandable if the Hulk didn't want to come out for this fight. However, the eventual output was great and thrilling to say the least. This is right after Bruce Banner seemingly suppresses his inner beast for good, but we all know that such things are a lot easier said than done. To be honest with you, I did get a mini scare when he opened his eyes in the middle of his jump, only to realise that they weren't glowing. But hey, another important thing to remember is that the Hulk will always come out whenever there's a threat to Banner's life. This kind of explains why he only showed up after Bruce crash landed directly into the road. And the reveal after that was nothing short of extraordinary. The look on Hulk's face here wasn't just a symbol of anger or aggression, this was a man on a mission, and he wasn't going to stop until he pummeled Abomination into the ground. The fight that followed right after deserves its own spot in the TVCU's Hall of Fame, but I can't really discuss it because it's not what this list's about.
You're not gonna turn green?
I've got a compelling reason not to lose my cool.
I adore you.
Well, we covered Black Widow in the earlier entry, but it's time to focus on her a little more here. The Hulk may be a badass character and all that, but he's actually pretty sexist if you ask me. Take Natasha Romanoff, for example. When she tries to be caring and gentle with him in order to get him to become Bruce Banner again, the Hulk silently obeys and listens to her. However, when Thor does it, he gets smashed without mercy. Then again, if Scarlett Johansson's being sweet to you, I'd assume any monster would calm down, right? Anyway, the focus of this entry is to highlight how Bruce transforms into the Hulk after getting a little tongue action from Black Widow. Normally, that would be enough to awaken the beast within for any man of culture. And Bruce Banner is no different. It definitely had humorous intent behind it, but one thing I don't get is why the MCU writers didn't turn these two into a proper couple when they were literally considering running away together in Age of Ultron. Also, they should really have brought back Betty from The Incredible Hulk, which brings me to a very important question. How the heck does Bruce end up with Liv Tyler and Scarlett Johansson? That's like the ultimate dream of any sane dude out there.
I really hope this makes us even. Now go be a hero.
Inhibitor.
Okay, get away from me. I'm bleeding. Get away.
Okay, I know it's the second time already, but please, just listen to me, okay? I know my top 10 should just be reserved for good entries. And yes, I know She-Hulk is worse than anything else the MCU released post-Endgame. And yes, I also know how much fun I've made of the character and the show in my previous videos. But most importantly, this is a scene that shamelessly disrespects the Hulk and the source material. At this point, I wouldn't complain if I got some hate for this decision, but I have to be fair, and the reflective transformation scene was actually the best moment of the entire show. Jennifer Walters isn't a likable character at all, and the way she gets access to Bruce Banner's blood is probably some of the most brain-dead and blatantly ignorant writing I've ever seen. But please keep in mind that this is a list that covers transformations, and based on that alone, this particular transition, which is probably like 5 seconds long, is the only section I'm considering for the entire entry. We haven't really seen any Hulk characters change forms via a blurred reflection, which makes this one unique, and that's the only reason I'm placing She-Hulk at number 10. Once again, I'm only considering the actual transformation, nothing else, okay? But if you want to go at me in the comments, I guess I do deserve it, right? Brian Banner was shown very differently in this movie, but I feel it works a lot in favour of the film's pacing, considering all the themes at play. His transformation into the Absorbing Man isn't very graphic or visual in terms of the actual transition, but lends its effectiveness to what we see after the transformation. It took Bro a few seconds to realise he could actually become one with anything around him, and he put that to full use when the guard came in to stop him as well. The smug look of arrogance on his face after realising that he just turned into an extremely dangerous being was all it took for the audience to realise that Brian's villain arc has finally achieved its fruition. You know, I always adored the metal hand effect we see here. It's so exact and precise. Like, it just feels that it's actually how it would look to have your hand merged with painted steel, which convinces the audience that he's actually gone rogue post-transformation. We really need to get this kind of acting back into the MCU.
Do you really believe that I am separate from you?
Everything's gonna be all right now. I got this. You wanted to know who I am?
What the hell are you talking about?
You'll see!
Yep, this one takes inspiration from the earlier entry where the Hulk doesn't transform till he falls into the road, but with a hilarious twist. What do you do when you have a giant dog who just won't die despite finishing multiple rounds of bullets on him? Well, you throw a Hulk at the mutt, what else? Of course, Taika Waititi wanted to make the audience laugh, so he obviously had to add a goofy bit where Bruce Banner tries to act all heroic while dropping into the battle zone, only to essentially make a fool of himself in front of everyone. I'm not going to complain about it though, because even if I may not be a fan of the excessive and forced Hulk humour in the MCU, this one was genuinely funny and had a reasonable explanation for the inability of Banner to transform at will. It was obvious that he wouldn't stay that way for long. It's just 1 second of Banner passed out on the bridge, even causing Fenris to worry about him for a second, and another second of the big bad wolf being flung away by the angry green giant. It's a brilliant surprise to take the audience aback, although it's only effective if you didn't see hundreds of TV spots Thor Ragnarok got before its theatrical release. Even so, it is a great moment and managed to be just as long as was necessary.
Hulk, stop! Just for once in your life, don't smash!
Big monster!
I'll go. You just watch me go. Hit it.
So Brian Banner isn't exactly a Hulk-type character, but he does have a cool transformation, plus I included him in a previous entry too, so I'll just add that in with Bruce's own panel-based transition as well. The moment the Banner family reunited, most people would have hoped for a nice, emotional exchange between father and son. Of course, nothing is normal about dudes with radioactive energy flowing through their veins, so instead, we get to see Absorbing Man inflate himself with a jolt of electricity, while his son also silently transformed while strapped to a chair. Yeah, right, like a piece of furniture was going to stop the freaking Hulk from taking shape. Sometimes I really question characters put in positions of high authority. Also, I know this is technically not a part of the transformation sequence, but I still felt like I needed to add the bit where Bruce and Brian have a little tussle in the sky. That bit with them fighting against the background of a dark, gloomy night as lightning strikes, showing them in different poses. Now that's literally how I'd picture a Kratos versus Zeus fight if they made a Greek saga God of War film. Since we're only sticking to the transformation aspects though, I won't explain the psychology of trauma they tried to showcase in the scene here. You'll probably need to see a shrink after that, you know.
I gave you life. Now you must give it back to me.
Para, por favor. Eu, raiva, muito ruim. You bang, G.
Bruce Banner may not look like a very dangerous individual, but if he's telling you to leave him alone, then I've got some very sound advice for the uninformed. Leave him alone. Bro doesn't mess around once he gets angry, and his first transformation scene in The Incredible Hulk does a lot more than prove my point. The transition isn't very explicit and happens mostly in the shadows, kind of like how Batman would have wanted it. However, the sense of mystery and dread that followed Blonsky and his soldiers all throughout this scene was exactly what made it such a delight to watch. This encounter feels as visceral and intense as it needed to be. It's a perfect introduction to the Hulk as a terrifying and powerful character. We don't actually get to see Bro's face till the end of the sequence, when he finally locks eyes with Blonsky and puts the fear of God in him. Bro's expressions were deadlier than a toxic ex-girlfriend, so men of culture should know better than to just stick around and find out. Those glowing eyes would be one of the most important aspects a hardcore Marvel fan would appreciate about the character, and I personally think that it's a real shame that we didn't get to see this version of the Hulk take on Thanos in Infinity War.
Clearly it worked. Let's assume you don't understand a word I'm saying, but...
Well, Edward Norton's Hulk may not have gotten Thanos, but he did get someone just as big and terrifying. Yes, the moment you were told that this video would cover Hulk characters and not just the angry green giant himself, I'm sure you were expecting to see Abomination pop up somewhere other than the She-Hulk entry, right? Well, here he is, at a very appropriate position of number 5. Emil Blonsky has always been a great soldier and operator, but no matter how much super soldier serum you put into him, there's no way he'll ever be able to take on the Hulk. That brings me to this insane transformation scene that looks like it could easily fit into any kind of horror film as well. Also, I'm sure a lot of Marvel fans remembered this scene after the news came out of Tim Blake Nelson returning to the MCU in Captain America 4. The focus isn't on Samuel Stearns though, it's on the freaking Abomination, who swells up to such a size that even the Hulk looks short in front of him. And this is exactly the kind of stuff you'd expect to see in a Hulk film. One thing I don't understand though, how Dr. Samuel stayed there and just watched Blonsky transform. I would have probably pissed my pants and dipped right after to make sure I didn't have to deal with whatever the heck showed up after that transformation.
I can fix this!
Bingo, that must be some jumbo nightmare you just had.
They say memories bring out your inner characteristics, and in the case of Bruce Banner, they brought out a ridiculously large muscle boy. The lab scene where Bruce remembers his traumatic past is really a hidden gem, not just because of how we learnt of his mental state, but also because of that slick transition to the Hulk while he was still submerged. Seeing such a visual back in 2003 was easily an Oscar-worthy moment, and it actually looks way better than anything the MCU has shown us from Phase 4 onwards. Man, this Hulk is an absolute unit. Bro breathes underwater, runs at over 300 miles per hour, leaps so far and high, is of actual size, has ridiculous strength, and has genuine character development. This Hulk is animated with such raw energy and his sound design is impeccable. All the other Hulk variations sound more like monsters, but this one sounds like a huge, incredibly angry human. The scream when he breaks out alone was good enough to land this entry in the top 5. It really makes the scene look more sincere, and you can tell the team was making a proper effort to give the fans what they truly deserved. This scene is the literal personification of bro went from wanting no smoke to wanting all of it. Edward Norton totally channeled his Fight Club energy into this character, and it shows in each and every transformation we saw in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Of course, the reason this university battle comes in at number 3 is because of how brilliantly executed the whole thing is. We're essentially left to ponder how the transformation may have taken place as Bruce Banner simply struggles for a bit within the smoke and gives us his iconic green eyes right before getting covered up in it. What follows after this is a brilliant transformation that highlights just how dangerous this version of the Hulk really is. Look, I know they had to shrink the angry green giant down to a point where he could at least fit into the frame with the other Avengers, but damn, he looks so much better here when he's massive and damn near invincible. The battle is obviously amazing, but I once again want to highlight how smart it was to transition from struggle to dominance all in a matter of seconds. This move really was underrated and underappreciated during its time. Luckily, you have the TV region to keep reminding you of just how good it actually is.
Is that all you got?
Dr. Banner. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
You remember when Mark Ruffalo used to play a decent version of the Hulk? Yeah, that was 13 years ago, so I wouldn't be mad at you if you forgot about it. I usually cover this entry because of the One Punch Man references I can use in it, but today I'm only going to focus on the transformation, which is ridiculously fast and instantaneous. I mean, even after slowing down the frames, Bruce Banner turns into the angry green giant in a matter of seconds, which goes to show how easy it really is for him to transition. The effects were as peak as the word could mean because it looks so smooth that you'd be tricked into believing that something of this caliber could happen in real life as well. Even the rage on his face seemed so genuine. I actually felt bad for the Leviathan before it even got punched due to that expression. Where the heck was this Hulk during Avengers Endgame? We needed him, not that weirdo dude with the glasses who was only interested in taking selfies with kids. Anyway, I'm not here to rant about anything. I just want to show my appreciation to a scene that should be getting discussed a lot more in online communities. If the Red Hulk is even as half as good as this one, I'll be a happy man.
But I will not be bullied by that.
Puny God.
Eric Banner is a forgotten name in today's generation, but people like yours truly do remember that he was the first to ever do it when it came to showcasing the Hulk in a big budget movie. Not only did he give us a great performance, bro gave us one of the angriest character transformations of all time. Bro was like the Bully Maguire of all the Hulks we've seen so far, and I'm not joking either. The Hulk is supposed to be exactly what this transformation shows here. He's not just a big green monster who loves to smash in ways unlike men of culture. He's a combination as well as a product of all the abuse and repression someone holds down for their entire life.
Ready?
The Angry Green Giant's whole arc as a character is a meditation on what anger can do to you psychologically. Yes, I am going philosophical here because that's the essence of Banner's Hulk.
I gotta talk to you, Edith.
Plus, since everyone likes deep, dark depictions of comic book characters, I have a strong feeling that if the CGI were a bit updated and released as a new movie today, it would have done a lot better. You know, I remember a few years back on YouTube, they used to hate on this version of the Hulk because they found him to be a little bit goofy. However, now he's finally getting the love and recognition that he deserves. This was a great version of the Hulk, and he easily tops Mark Ruffalo's rendition any day. That's why I just had to give him the top spot at any cost. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.